Good morning, students. This is the continuing class on the topic classical criticism. In the last class on the same topic, we had discussed the Aristotle concept that he has propagated on the drama, the tragedy, and we had seen how it is an imitation of action, complete, that is complete, serious, and of certain magnitude, and so on. And later on, we had also discussed on the various main constituents of the tragedy. And in the course of discussion, we have talked about the theme, action, dialogue, plots, etc. And the last point of discussion of the last class was plot. We have seen the plots mainly are of two types: simple plots and complex plots. We had also seen the basic differences between these two plots. Taking ahead the discussion, we shall start today with another important element of the drama, the tragedy, that is hero, the character. And before we see what Aristotle has given about this element, we shall see first that the characters are mainly of two types: the main characters, the round characters rather, and the flat characters. Round characters, as the very term itself suggests, are such characters around which the plots of the drama revolves around. In other words, you can say they are main characters, they are important characters. On the other, the flat characters are not as important as the other. They are insignificant characters. Whatever may be, the fact remains that character is an important constituent in the drama. If action is an essential, is an inevitable constituent, character is the vehicle of that action, of that thought rather. So, character, the heroes, plays an important role in the drama, the tragedy. And the hero in the drama begins his life with high hopes and ambition. In the ancient drama, the classical ancient dramas, with rosy dreams and aspirations, with the ideas of possessing a position of power or authority. But very soon, in the course of his life, all his dreams are shattered and he is brought to acute misery and suffering. This reversal in fortune occurs dramatically through a small error of judgment or frailty in the character of the hero himself. In case of Greek tragedy, this is presented or shown through fate, rather the ill fate, ill luck, misfortune, and in case of Shakespeare's, through the tragic flaws. In the Greek tragedies, the ancient tragedies, the heroes suffers largely because of his misfortune, the sin that used to be transgressed from to him from the generations, as in the case of Agamemnon, Oedipus the Rex, and others. While in the Shakespearean tragedy, the hero suffers mainly because of his own tragic flaw that always lies within him, and nothing else is responsible for his doom. The critics have termed it as hamartia. In the course of this reversal, at some stage comes recognition or realization of truth. The hero recognizes the truth of the situation dramatically, but at this stage, that is too late for him to mend. King Lear is an excellent example of Shakespearean tragedy, and in King Lear, Lear himself, for example, recognizes in the end that really Cordelia was devoted to him and that she was really noble, but this recognition comes too late and that produces the feeling of pity. Othello likewise recognizes a little too late that Desdemona was really pure, noble, and chaste. Thus, reversal and recognition are two very important things in a good tragedy. A good tragic plot, according to Aristotle, must produce the feelings of pity and fear. Such an effect is best produced when the events come on us by surprise. Aristotle further says, a perfect tragedy must be arranged not on the simple but on the complex plan or plots. It should, moreover, imitate actions which excite pity and fear. This is the distinctive feature of tragic emancipation. The idea behind the feeling of genuine pity is that it should arise from unmerited suffering on the part of the hero. If the hero suffers a punishment which he well deserves, then no genuine feeling of pity will arise. In brief, genuine feeling of pity arises when an essentially good man suffers on account of a small tragic trait in his characteristics. In these situations, feeling of pity arises above the individualistic level and takes on its widest range. Aristotle finally says that a tragedy must not show a guilty person left at large eventually, and a good person must not be left sound rewarded at last. So, this is the main philosophy, the main things that the great poet, writer, critic Aristotle says about the tragedy, and since the ages, the ideas propagated by Aristotle that have been considered the landmarks in the field of drama, especially in the field of tragedies, the writers, the dramatists, since long have been following the basic principles of tragedy laid down by the great Aristotle. So, this is now the conclusion of this chapter, classical criticism. Thank you very much.